Hey everyone, it's Jay here, and welcome to another video. So in today's video we wanted to talk a little bit about naked portafilters. And naked portafilters are something that is from an older era. You know, when I started in the business in coffee in 2002, maybe by 2004 people were talking about naked portafilters, and certainly by 2005. But turns out that naked portafilters in my time were not the first. Somebody else had done it before us, and it wasn't as original as we had thought back then. But nonetheless, it's become a great tool that can help you to analyze your technique to making better espressos. So what we have today is we have our normal portafilter. This is a more modern version. It's all stainless steel. It has you know, the typical basket. This is the VST type basket, and the newer ones have removable spouts, right? And so basically we use this here at the shop mainly because it allows us to fit cups. If I wanted to pull a espresso into a 16-ounce cup, I could then just put this underneath the portafilter and pull the shot directly in to the cup itself. And that's really what we want to do, is we want to put the shots as much as possible into the actual vessel we're serving them in. So these removable spout portafilters allows us to do that. But these are a recent invention, and so I guess these are maybe within the last 10 years. But prior to that, we only had fixed spout portafilters, so you couldn't just readily remove them. You had to unscrew them, and they're pretty well tightened on there. I don't know if I can't remember now if they were what do you call it, Loctited into place, but they were really hard to remove. You had to torch them and really put them on a vise and twist them off. So what we're going to talk today is the naked portafilter. And the naked portafilter is just that. Basically, it's a portafilter that has the spouts cut off of it and removed. And back in the old days, all you had was a Lombrosoco portafilter, or this, and if you wanted to have this, you had to make it. So basically, you could go out and spend some money and buy this, and this is a nice manufactured naked portafilter. So as you can see real closely here, it's really smooth and chamfered, and then it's also plated, so it's really well done. Brass, then chrome plated, so it's really clean and very factory looking. Or you go back to do like we used to do in the old days and basically cut your own. And we're going to talk a little bit about that before we get into the actual talking about how to use it. Now, when you have a regular portafilter, you need to get rid of the bottom, right? Bottomless, naked, you need to get rid of it. So in order to get rid of that, you have to cut it. Now, some people, not a lot, would take a hacksaw and they would cut like this. They would cut across, right? The problem there is if you cut off too much of this bottom part, you'll expose the basket, right? So some people would cut it so that the basket was you could actually see the basket coming from the bottom. And the problem is that when you went to go put it onto a surface to temp, you'd pop the basket out. So you don't want to do that. You want to take the factory, and you don't want to cut any lower. You don't want to make that smaller, this height smaller. You don't want to shorten the height. So the way that I did it is basically, let's go to my toolbox. Essentially, I went to Home Depot, and I took my portafilter with me to Home Depot, and then I went there and I looked for a hole saw that would fit. So let's say I found this one, hole saw, right? This one is a relatively inexpensive one. It's all one piece. You can get really fancy ones that have removable, everything's removable and you can make it. This is Lennox, very nice quality, but pricier. And pretty much you're going to use this for this purpose, and you're running through brass, so you're going to chew it up. So basically what you want to do is you want to find one that's going to fit, right? That's about the size that you want. That's actually a little bit large. Let's have a look. There are many sizes, so, okay, this is too small. But you get the idea. You're just looking for a hole drill that's going to be about the diameter of the portafilter. In this case, we can look at it from here. This is pretty much the right size. It's probably not exactly the one that I did. This is the one that I made back in 2004, so this is pretty old. And what you have to do now is you're going to take your portafilter and you have to clamp it down onto a surface, because basically once you start to drill into, first of all you want to remove the spout, so in that case you have to unscrew it. And I use the spout itself, this hole, as kind of the guide hole, right? However, the problem is that this is going to eventually bind and will want to twist, right? So if you were to hand hold it, that would be very difficult. You know, you're taking your drill and you're trying to hand hold that. It'll start to flick and rotate, and just makes it harder to get, because it's really difficult unless you're using something like a drill press to get a perfectly straight drop on it, okay? So you're going to want to drill it out, come through. Once you get it all out, it's going to have a lot of burrs, and so you're going to want to file and sandpaper the hole until it's nice and smooth. This one, it's pretty smooth. You can see that some of the plating is coming off the brass, and so you know it's relatively smooth. It's a little bit narrower, right? If you look at here, it's a little bit more narrow than this one, right? Because this one is really like this one looks like it's been machined out really smoothly. So where this one is really roughly done with a hole drill, this one is done with a machine bit. So certainly the manufacturer one is prettier, but if you're like me and you've got a bunch of portafilters lying around, why spend more money? Just make your own. You know what I'm saying? All right, so once you have this done and it's all ready, you basically will just pop your back in and go to work. So let's have a look at some of the videos. Let's have a look at some of the shots that we can pull with both of these portafilters and see the difference. Also, one thing to note, that there is a bit of a difference between these two. While the portafilters are the same, the baskets are different. I believe this one is a VST. Yeah, this is a VST basket. This is an old school Marzocco stock one. And there is a bit of a performance difference between the two. I think you'll see some of that in the video. To a certain extent, I'm thinking now that the old school baskets they're actually going to be harder to work with. The holes in the baskets are bigger. You can actually kind of see that, and I'll show you a reflection in the window of or at least something through the window so that you can see that the holes really are bigger on the old school versus the new one. But that's a little bit more in depth, and we'll go to that. We'll go into baskets in a whole nother video, because that really is a subject in itself. Well, that's pretty much it for this time. Thanks for tuning in. I hope this video helped you understand a little bit more about Naked Portafilters and how they can help you with your technique and how to make, and hopefully to help you make better espresso. If you like the video, please press like, and then of course hit the subscribe button. We'd like to have you more subscribers. If you subscribe, ring the bell. Of course, there's also the coffees. If you like some coffees, we've got our Great Espresso. It's a really nice kind of older school, third wave kind of espresso. Chocolate, fruit, nuts, my personal favorite. You can get that and accessories and all that kind of more here on sprocoffee.com. And then we also have our shop here in Hamden. Come and visit us. We're open 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. during these COVID hours. We've been open every day, 7 days a week since it all started, so we've never given up, and we've got a place for you to come and hang out and check it out. We've even got garden and outdoor seating, so it's a nice place to spend a little bit of time drinking coffee. But otherwise, we'll have more videos coming up, and hope you have a good one.